Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news, and tonight we're going to be talking about quite a few things because it's Friday night, which means it's the Q&A, so get your questions lined up. But topical stuff first. Some big news this afternoon coming over from Germany and Christian Falk's outlet Sport Bild, talking about Paul Pogba and the pressure he's putting his agent Mino Raiola under, basically demanding that he forces a move out of Manchester United. We'll also be talking about a centre-back that I think is going to please a lot of you. It's interesting stories about him as well. Bit about Anthony Martial, and obviously all your questions as well. So lot to get through, and this news about Paul Pogba is, of course, very, very interesting. But today's show is sponsored by Manscaped. Manscaped is the #1 in men's, listen to this, below-the-waist grooming, offering precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. I'd just like to introduce you to the lawnmower. So Manscaped has just launched in the UK, and you can be one of the very first to experience these amazing products. We've got a great offer for you exclusively for the United Stand. And did you know, in an independent poll, 85% of people say that they prefer a well-groomed man below the waist. So notice how I said people, because it can be men and women. We've all had those close encounters when trying to make our areas below our waist look as handsome as those areas above them, and that is why the Manscaped of engineering team have perfected the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created, and just released the new improved lawnmower, which is what I'm holding here, so you can shave your most important possessions with no fear of injury. The Manscaped razors are super premium and boast a 90-minute battery life, waterproof technology, so you can use it when you're in the shower, which I find is the best time to do it because it can all go down the plug hole. And so you can use them in the shower, and even a little LED light, which if I turn this on for you now, it's going to vibrate. Little LED light there, which is always nice. The Manscaped razor is super easy to charge and even comes with a USB charging stand, so you can show it off to everyone that uses your guest bathroom. There you go. And because Manscaped care about all the nuts that watch this channel, see what I did there? It was a pun about balls. Anyway, because Manscaped care about all the nuts that watch this channel, they're giving a huge 20% off plus free shipping when you use the code UnitedStand, all in one word. So UnitedStand, all in one word at the checkout. So head over to manscaped.com or click the link in the description and get your Manscaped razor today. Links in the video description for that. I know a lot of you are going to be laughing, but to be honest with you, if you know, you know. Links in the video description, and it's very good. It's very good, and I think it does make a difference in more ways than one. Anyway, let's get on with the show. Links in the video description for that. They also do actually, if you're a little bit older, on a serious note, I've just ordered myself as one. I haven't got it yet. The nose one. You get to a certain age, it's like Epping Forest up there, and I've ordered one of those as well. So yes, the main thing about one of the nose ones is make sure it's always charged up, because you don't want it to run out of battery when it's in the nose. I've had that before, and luckily I've got big nostrils. I had to get scissors up there and chop it. My eyes were watering for weeks. And you think onions do you bad, but no, really good product if you fancy it. Anyway, let's get on with the show. Let's talk about Paul Pogba then. So basically, Christian Falk, who's been on this show before, Sport Bild, he's been very accurate about everything. Well, not everything, a lot of things that he's spoken about in before. And basically, what he's saying is that Mino Raiola is actually under pressure because Paul Pogba wants him to get him his move, or he'll even consider sacking him and getting a new agent. So how funny is that? Many Manchester United fans are saying he should be sacking Mino Raiola for coming out and saying those comments he said on Monday night. And the funny thing is, he might sack him if he doesn't get him the move that he wants. So actually, Pogba wants more action than what happened on Monday night. Pogba wants more, according to Christian Falk and Sport Bild. He wants more of that sort of tactic on Monday night, coming out saying he's unhappy because he wants the move. And if he doesn't get the move, he may get rid of Mino Raiola to get somebody who can get him the move. That's how determined Paul Pogba is to get out of Manchester United, apparently. So what do you think about that? Trim the grass, the yard looks bigger, says Karen. Exactly. If you trim the grass, the yard looks bigger. If you know, you know. Good comment, Karen, and you're right. Links in the video description. You didn't say refining the gentleman, says Sam. Mark is absolutely loving this sponsor read. You're a natural, says Alex Clementino. And this Pogba situation gets more embarrassing of the day. When's it going to end, Mark? I've had enough, says Yazza. Well, look, to be honest with you, I'm a man. you know, I have always found it quite difficult. I've said too much. What I'm saying is it's a good product, and if you know, you know. If you don't, then, you know, that's up to you. Let it grow. Let it grow. That's Frozen, isn't it? You don't want to throw. Anyway, puns. It's Friday night. It's a Friday night show. It fits perfectly on a Friday night show because we do the Q&A, so it's absolutely perfect. But Yardbridge, yes, that's about right as well. Anyway, we always have fun on a Friday night. Thanks to Manscaped, you've added to the comedy value of it. Anyway, in relation to Paul Pogba, look, all I would say is, if you are one of those fans who are United fans who still back Paul Pogba, then all you need for Christmas is a Juventus shirt, and then off you trot with Pogba to Juventus. Because I don't get at this point how you can still back Paul Pogba as a Manchester United fan when it's 5 days later and he's still not come out and said anything publicly, not even a subtle Instagram. If he scores tomorrow against Man City, he'll do this. Shh. And he did it 2 years ago. Paul, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean I want to stay at Manchester United. That doesn't mean what my agent said, I want him to shush. It means nothing. But if he plays tomorrow and he scores, he'll go like that. And all of Pogba FC will go, see, that's my man. That's my boy. That's Pogba who wants to be at United. Shush doesn't mean anything. Typing something on Instagram, which you use a lot, does mean something. Paul Pogba doesn't want to be at this club. He's unhappy. He won't sign a new contract and he wants to leave ASAP. That's the story, unless he gives us a different one. And it's interesting that Christian Falk via Sport Build is saying that actually Raiola did what he did on Monday because of the pressure Pogba's putting on him. Because if he doesn't get him a move, he's going to sack him and get somebody else who will. And I think it's a good point, actually, because even if you look at it some in another way, what is the job of an agent? And I was thinking about this when I was using my Manscaped. No, I wasn't really. In the shower. I was thinking about Mino Raiola. No, I wasn't. I've gone too far. I was thinking about this when I was brushing, let's say I was brushing my teeth. I thought, you know what? An agent is there. An agent represents a player, right? But an agent is also there to get, Mino Raiola didn't wake up on Monday morning and think, you know what? I've got nothing in the diary. I'm just going to go and do an interview with Tutto Sport and I'll just see what they ask me. And I tell you what, when they ask me anything, they're providing coffee and cake. I will just answer any question they ask honestly. Now, the job of an agent is to make money for their clients. That's what they're there to do. Protect and make money for their clients. So Mino Raiola, when he starts talking about Paul Pogba or Erling Haaland or any of his other players like Verratti, he's very happy at PSG. He'd like to commit his long-term future there. That means he wants PSG to give him a new contract. Erling Haaland is very happy at Dortmund, but in the future, of course, he'd like to go and play at other clubs, but he's very committed to Dortmund for now. His contract means he can't leave until the summer after next, but he does want to move, so call me. Paul Pogba isn't happy at Manchester United. It's time for him to go. He won't be signing a new contract. I'm desperate to sell Paul Pogba. Please call me at any time. And that's Mino Raiola's job is not to just wander into an interview and think, oh, let's just see where this goes. What he did on Monday night and what he's done in the past, he's not just doing it. I know, and maybe I need to think about this. He's not doing this to be an arsehole. He's not doing this because he's bored. He's doing it because he represents that player and he needs to get him a move. And that's basically what this article is about tonight, isn't it? It's basically saying that, the pressure is on Raiola now from Pogba to get him his move, because that's why he's had to be so blunt in many ways. It's very unusual for somebody so publicly to do that during an off-season. And to me, it suggests it's not an easy job to find Paul Pogba a move. And I think that's why, one of the reasons, they've gone to this extreme plan of, upsetting the United fan base, upsetting Solskjaer. They're desperate to get out, and desperate times equals this desperate measures. I have a stat that may cheer you up, Mark. In the Prem since October, Arsenal have more foul throw-ins than goals from open play. This is Road to Dawn. I like that one. I do like that one. So, look, Pogba wants to go. Raiola's trying to get him the move. Pogba's putting the pressure on to get the move. Manchester United, I think, have always said you're not going unless we get the money. Pogba's stuck. Pogba's now gone public and caused this outrage where fans are saying we don't want him to play anymore. So it puts pressure onto Man United. Man United can't really sit there and say, we're not selling you, Paul, because fans are now like, we want to get rid of you. So everything that's happened on Monday night and all the way through this week and the absence of an explanation from Pogba it's forcing Manchester United to sell him because they can't find a buyer. And I think it's going to be very interesting. That's going to be my final point before we move on. It's going to be very interesting. This has gone up a level because of desperation from Pogba and his agent to get a move, because they know that it's very difficult to get a move and they're trying to force United to let him go on the cheap. The problem is, who's going to buy Paul Pogba in this market? So I think it's watch this space, really. Can you blame him? We showed him to no live-in and then this club... I was reading that one, Maria. I'm still going to read it, Maria. Can you blame him? We showed him no living and this club is getting dumb just like you, Mark. See, I don't mind reading that, Maria, because they've absolutely exposed themselves as idiot. Can we blame a player of Manchester United for coming out publicly the night before a massive game and slating the club, the manager and everybody who plays for it and supports it? No, it's fine. It's absolutely fine, mate. Yeah, I'm sure it's absolutely fine. You know what you need for Christmas? Get on to Mino Raiola, find out which club is going, get that shirt and piss off. Let's face it, if we're players, we would hire Mino, says True United. Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I think the anger towards Mino Raiola is probably misplaced, to be fair. It should be placed at the player, because the player's got the power to come out and say that that's not true, and he hasn't done it. And actually, Mino Raiola, if he's your agent, he's looking out for you, he's looking out for himself, he's not looking out for the club. And actually, you know, we support the club, so we're never going to be happy with that. But yeah, you're probably right, it's probably not a bad agent to have, really. Ishak says, people shouldn't think that Ollie and people are the only ones who want him to succeed. I am Ollie out and hope people do well, just don't think he can, says Ishak. I think there's a lot of people like that. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, I think too many people get too het up about Ollie in, Ollie out. I think most people who are Ollie out genuinely want Manchester United to succeed and don't think he's good enough. And a lot of people who are Ollie in want him to succeed because they want Manchester United to be good. You know, 99.9% of people just want Manchester United to be good. So, you know, of course you're going to get division because one people want the other. But ultimately everyone wants the same thing. We dream the same dream. We want the same thing. Oh, what a song. The UK is using the same negotiating team for the Brexit deal that United used for the Sancho deal, says FT. I haven't even looked at that. And I've got to a point now where I'm bored of all this with Pogba. Get him gone in January. I think the real problem is the club not acting, says Littler77. Welcome to the members club, Abdallah A. You've just reminded me of something. Welcome. And Bash says, can we start FundMe to buy our team back, says Bash. And what if he's already tried to do it the professional way and Manchester United refuses to let him go? So now he's going to do it in the public, says Tossin. Mate, you know what, Tossin? That is fine. Absolutely fine. And Maria is not in the mud. Maria is actually being a very good moderator, deleting a Pratt comment. But I saw it and thought, actually, let's out it because it was an idiotic comment that was quite rightly deleted, but I thought, you know what, let's read it out. So shout out to Maria, hashtag Maria in the live comments. But no, let me just go back to that comment there from Tossin. He said that, you know, I don't know Tossin, but let's pretend you do think this. Can you blame Pogba because he's tried to move and the club won't let him, so he's gone public? Well, you can blame him because he's upset me and he's upset a lot of United fans, and I'm like, piss off, you know, which is what he wants to do. And maybe he feels backed into a corner that he has to, you know, he wants to go. So ultimately, he maybe sat there and went, look, I'm going to upset a lot of United fans. I don't really want to do that, but I really want to go. So I'm just going to, it's collateral, really. It's a big up yours to United and United fans, but I want to go. And I feel this is my only way of getting out. And you know, you take a calculated decision, and maybe Paul Pogba sat there and gone, look, I don't really want to upset. And I don't think he does. I really do not think Paul Pogba is an arsehole. I just think he wants to go. And for wrongly in my opinion, he's gone down this route. But maybe it's the only way to force United. And we all know United's board isn't the best. So I think the sad thing about this, it's not really how he's treated the board, because look at the way the board treated Ander Herrera and other players. I don't think the board are greatly respected by the dressing room. I really don't. I think the dressing room thinks the board do a lot of bad things. The dressing room were not happy with how they treated Romero. But the board are not Manchester United. They own Manchester United. They are squatters, really. They are not Manchester United. And the sad thing is, no matter how badly Paul Pogba and his agent think of the board, what about the fans? There's a lot of fans who love Paul Pogba. There's a lot of fans like me who really think Paul Pogba could have been really special at this club, and I would have liked him to sign a new contract. To upset that fan base, I think is a shame. And if he feels that the only way out is to do that, then it's a shame that the club and Pogba have let it get to that stage. Pep would play a false nine like he did in the first leg of Carabao Cup, and like Leipzig, Ollie would play a back five with no organisation. You still think we can win, says Shrevanshan. And Mark, which players post Sir Alex would you bring back? Mojo. Good question. Try and remind me about that later, because the next quick thing I want to move on to is the tactics for tomorrow's game, and I want to talk about Anthony Martial. So we have a community tab on the homepage of YouTube. I don't know whether you know that. The United Stand has it. All channels have it. And if you're a member of the club, we tend to put some community questions to the members on there. Certainly a few a week. Yesterday it was, do you think Paul Pogba should start? 69% of the members said drop him entirely. The question for the members today, which we're bringing into the show, Manchester United derby time, how would you line up against City if you were the boss? And the members said 7% would go with a 5-3-2. Funnily enough, I think that's what Ollie's going to go with, but only 7% of the members would. 29% would go with a 4-2-3-1, and 64% would go with a diamond. So what do you think about that? Live comments. And if you want to become a member, by the way, you get your badge next to your name, community tab. There's a really good thing coming for the members next week, a little Christmas treat as well. So link, just click the join button if you want to join. But 64% going with the diamond. I think we will go with a back five tomorrow, but I think that comment about that Pep might play with a false nine. Why play three centre-backs when no one knows who to mark? And that could be a problem. So maybe United will go with a back four. I hope we do. I don't want to see a back five, really, because what's the point in playing three centre-backs when they're not playing a striker? It makes it very difficult for our players. Welcome to the Members Club, Melly1150 and Little77. Can Dennis Zakaria as CDM replace Pogba, says Narinjan? I don't see any reason why not. Thomas Mendelan says, good take, Mark. Raiola had to sabotage Paul's chance of starting. That way he can't put any more poor bad performances. So yeah, I mean, look, there is a very good chance that Man City will play Sterling, Mahrez and Torres as their front three. No striker. Jesus and Aguero on the bench. And if they do that, why play a back five? So I would... How would I like to see his lineup tomorrow? If we're not going to... You know what? Actually, controversially, if we're not going to play the back five, I would play the 4-2-3-1. I don't think the diamond provides enough defensive support. And I know that sounds contradictory, but I don't. I don't think it does. You can't play Pogba, really, in my mind, so why play the diamond? I would play the back four. I would play Fred and Van der Beek. I would play Bruno. I would play... Greenwood, Martial, Rashford. That's what I would do. Or I would play Matic, Van der Beek and Bruno. But you've got to play Fred. If Pogba doesn't find any players, should United terminate his contract like Atletico Madrid did for Suarez, says Sedandri? No, there's too much money involved in that. Sedandri, to be fair. Welcome to the Members Club, Jacob, Alice. And Chris Millen says, how can Pogba fight the board without fighting the club? If he wants to leave, he needs to force it so he doesn't get treated like so many others before him. Pogba sympathetic club out there from Chris. Nothing wrong with it. You're not on your own. I'm Ollie out. No, you know what it is with me, Chris? It's me. It's you. Pogba has disrespected me and you. And you, I mean hundreds of thousands of Man United fans. And me, a Man United fan. That's where he's gone wrong. Brilliant player. Don't disagree that he wants to leave and has wanted to leave for a long time. But don't shit on your fans. And that's what he did. That's the issue for me. That's where it stops and ends. It's nothing to do with him being French. It's nothing to do with him being a great player. It's nothing to do with him wanting to leave. It's the fact that he shit on the fans. And that is the mistake that I won't forgive. And anybody who's saying, I can forgive it, well, you know, that's up to you. But don't think he hasn't shit on you. I'm Ollie out, but I don't think he should be sacked now. No good enough replacement. Sack him in the summer. Much better managers available then, says Ishak. Welcome to the Members Club, Andy and Bruno, my German Shepherd. Devils Wear Red says, if a new manager comes, the players won't have a problem adjusting to the new system because we don't have a system. Ed is to blame for most of this. And Pogba can't deal with Mino in public as it will expose and embarrass him even more. Your opinion? Pogba can't deal with Mino in public as it will expose and embarrass him even more. Your opinion? I hope I'm reading that correctly, Rishad. I think you're trying to say that what Mino Raiola said on Monday wasn't what Paul Pogba wanted him to say. But if he comes out and says that, it embarrasses Mino Raiola. But what about the hundreds of thousands of Man United fans that have been upset by this? Are you gonna stay quiet to protect an idiotic agent, or are you gonna say something and appeal to millions of fans? The reality is that interview was planned. It had been he'd done that interview days before, which is why bits got leaked. Paul Pogba would have known what was in that interview. He may even have, said what needed to be said. I don't think defending Pogba... I think what anybody needs to understand is that Paul Pogba had an input on that interview, and what was said in that interview was how Paul Pogba feels. If you think it's right, that's fine. If you think it's wrong, then that's where you are. Someone speaking earlier said the United should play the 4-2-3-1 with Donny as a false nine, says Kenneth Hoagland. And Mark, just back from a disaster of a Tinder date, this show is helping me deal with rejection, says Robert McCutcheon. I tell you what, Robert, I'll say it again. From an independent poll, 85% of people said they liked a well-groomed man below the waist. So, links in the video description, Robert. If you know, you know. What was that line about? Trim the grass and make your yard look bigger. Brian says, can you blame Pogba to want to leave? He's being led by Ollie, and Ollie has not been cutting it. Ooh, was that a Manscaped plug as well, Brian? But can you blame Pogba to want to leave? He's being led by Ollie, and Ollie has not been cutting it. No, Brian, look, I think, it's Friday night, so get your questions in. It's absolutely fine. I do want to talk about Martial starting, but Brian, it's not about... Again, I can only reiterate where I come from, and I think a lot of people come from this. It's not about blaming Pogba for wanting to leave. Nobody blames Pogba for wanting to leave. If we're in the same position we are now, in a year, no one's going to blame Bruno for wanting to leave. It'll be very sad, but you can't blame it. I don't blame Pogba for wanting to leave. I don't. Absolutely not. I do not. I blame Pogba for shitting on the fans on Monday night, allowing that statement to come out. It's the lack of respect for the fans and the club that have pissed me off. It's not the fact that he wants to leave. I've known he wanted to go for a long time. We all have. I don't blame him for wanting to leave. I understand that. But don't shit on your fans. Don't shit on the club. Don't be so disrespectful like that. Don't embarrass us to the rest of our rivals. And that's why for me it's like I can't deal with that. Unless you're going to apologise, I can't deal with that. Mark, any chance even 5% of us bringing in players in January transfer window? If Pogba goes, do you see a swap or cash deal? And where could be spent that cash to improve our squad, says Mojo. I'm going to talk about a centre-back in a minute. But Mojo, I said this before Pogba's statement. I think that Manchester United will do business in January. I do. I think... I don't do percentages anymore. If you know, you know. I don't do percentages, but I think there's a very high chance that we'll do transfer business in January, yes. Please smash a like on the video if you're watching. I love the Friday night show. People young and old looked up to Pogba as being one of our top talents. To come out during the season saying what you want to leave shows so much disrespect, says Littler77. Exactly, I agree with that. Pogba knows what his agency's doing. It's like saying Michael Jackson didn't know, says Sean O'Sullivan. I don't know what story you're talking about Michael Jackson. You always have to be careful about Michael Jackson, Sean. Why don't Manchester United play 3-5-2, says Jay Perryman. Well, we sort of do and pretend it's a 3-5-2 when it's a 7-2-1. That was from Jay Perryman. If there is no buyer of Pogba's choice, imagine the scenes when he goes to somewhere he doesn't want to go, says Akil. Look, somebody will want Pogba. He's a fantastic player. Whether it's PSG or Juventus or Real Madrid, he'll get his move. Pleasure to be here, Mark. I'm annoyed at these English pundits blaming players that aren't English. What had De Gea done? Nothing. And hi, Mark. Hope you're doing well. I love that Christmas jumper and I want one, says Mr. Chow88. You can get them. I think the link will be somewhere on one of the videos, but... I don't think you get it for Christmas now. It's only for 2 weeks till Christmas, so I can't say that you get it for Christmas, to be fair. But if you want to get one and keep it, you can. So yes, I would start Martial tomorrow. I did want to bring that in, and then I'm going to talk about this centre-back story. I would start Martial tomorrow. I'm a big fan of Anthony Martial. My boy is going back to vacation, says G Just Juve. And I would start Anthony Martial tomorrow. I know he's not been good this season, and I've admitted it, even though I'm one of his biggest fans. For me, Bruno, Martial, Rashford, they're my three favourite players at the club. And, I'm definitely behind Martial, and I know what a talent he is. He's one of the few players we've had over the last few years that genuinely gets me on the edge of the seat. He's not been good this season, but he's massively underperforming. Like, he's not got into the groove of averageness, and everything we remember good was lucky. It's not like that 2 months that Messi Lingard had, and then the surrounding 3 years were just poor. actually, I think Martial is in a 2-month blip of bad form, and everything around it will be brilliant. So Martial's going to bounce back into action, and I think tomorrow I would definitely start him. I think he's one of our better players. It surprises me that he is a bit of a divider in our fan base, but I think he has to start tomorrow. I don't think. And the reason I said this from a tactical point is that I don't think Mason Greenwood and Marcus Rashford as a front two complement each other. There was loads of good analysis that I saw on social media, not from ex-players, from actual football fans, Man United fans on Twitter over the last few days, talking about Rashford and Greenwood. And we mention it a lot on the watch-along. How many times do we say it on the watch-along? Rashford or Greenwood have got it, and you're shouting at them to play a pass, and they don't. They're they're one-track mind. There's nothing wrong with that. Being a selfish striker, Shearer was like it, you back yourself, you see a shot, you go for it. But you don't work as a front two if you're both like that. And the thing about Anthony Martial is, and Cavani, and you see their frustration sometime with Rashford and Greenwood is, they will have a shot if it's on, but they're also very good at holding the ball up, bringing other people into the play, spinning and moving, and they expect the ball back. And I think Greenwood and Rashford do not work as a front two, but Martial does. And Cavani's not going to be starting in this game. So I think Martial would have made a massive difference against Leipzig. Not saying he wouldn't have missed a sitter, but his hold-up play and his ability to bring others into the play is massively underrated. And Martial's very important, especially against their centre-backs that are very good. You're not just going to be able to run at Diaz and Laporte or skip past them for pace. You're going to have a little bit more to your game, and Martial definitely brings that. Ted's one says, last season we allowed 36 goals, third fewest in the Premier League. This season we're already at 17. Why has Ollie dismantled our defensive structure? Same players too. It's a very good point. Very, very good point, that. The biggest joke is that before every single game, we keep guessing who's going to play and what formation they will play in. I doubt any other fan base does that, says Sam. Sam, nail on the head. Absolutely. It's a joke, really, that, Ollie said it in his press conference. Watch the press conference reaction. He said, we're getting more and more like a United team of old. Well, we're not. I don't know what the team is tomorrow. Don't know what it is against Sheffield United, and I don't know what it is against Leeds. I guarantee it won't be the same team and the same formation for every game. After Ollie got hired as manager, he was asked if he had any regrets from Cardiff. His answer was that he may have changed system and players too often, says Fred the Red, and he's doing it now. Animus says, I agree, Mark, but how about our manager who's also undermining us by picking Paul? Isn't he equally culpable when it comes to disrespecting the fans? I mean, that's an interesting point from Animus. What do you think in the comments? Would you rather have the new manager come in, assess the squad and decide transfers instead of wasting another 6 months assuming the board have a target, says GH. Yeah, but look, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't get his top four and he's gone in May, the new manager comes in at the end of May. He's got 3 months until the start of the new season. Plenty of managers have come in the summer. Traditionally, that's when they do come in. Mark, you say we play defensive because our centre-backs are crap, but is there another way with these defenders, says Kyriakos. Good point. Welcome to the Members Club, Mike Mate, and welcome to Ren H. Thank you for joining. There is another way to play with these defenders. I think we all know that there's another way to play with these defenders, and that way is to play somebody else. It's very simple. Lindelof and Maguire, we've been talking about this for months, that we're never going to win anything major with those two centre-backs. They don't know how to defend the low cross across the front post. They're too slow. So what you do is, all right, is Lindelof better than Eric Bailly, really? Is Maguire better than Twan Sebi? Well, they might be. Look, I'm not going to argue. They might be. But as a pairing, is Maguire and Bailly better than Maguire and Lindelof? Yes. Is Lindelof and Twan Sebi better than Maguire and Lindelof? Yes. You change the pair. A centre-back, I can't think of anywhere on the pitch, because 4-4-2 doesn't really happen now. The days of Cole and York and Sheringham and Shearer, it doesn't really happen anymore. It's so the one place where a partnership really, and not everyone plays two CDMs, only we do, to protect our slow centre-backs. So the one area of the pitch that really is about a partnership, Batman and Robin, named great duos, Chuckle Brothers. Manchester United, centre-backs is a partnership, but we play two individuals together who don't complement each other. Would it be better to lose tomorrow, in a sense, to stop this consistent inconsistency? I always want us to win, but the up and down form won't allow any serious changes, is Ian Smith. If we lose tomorrow, Ian, I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will get the sack. If that's what you're trying to say would be the result of it. It's a Manchester derby. I want to win. I wouldn't. Mourinho lost to Liverpool. If somebody said to me before that game, if he loses, he's getting the sack, I still would have said no. It's Liverpool and it's Man City tomorrow. I don't want to lose. Rest Rashford, then when it's going wrong, bring him on because Marcus Love's coming on from the bench. Best performance this season is off the bench, says Mark Dobby. Ollie has the players to play better, yet he doesn't use them. It's shameful that he started Maguire and Lindelof against Leipzig and then brings Tuanzebe on as a sub when he should have started, says Viciously MV. And I reiterate what I said. If you want to change the way we play, you've got to change the centre backs. It's very obvious that. And it's not always obvious to find what a team's problem is. You know, like Pep Guardiola last season and this season, they've had a couple of inconsistent results. Well, last season you'd say it because the centre-backs weren't good enough. This season, why did they draw with Leeds? Why did they get beat by Leicester? Probably because the new players are still getting used to each other. But actually, it's a little bit difficult for him to iron out those games that they have every 3 or 4 where they drop points. But for Manchester United, everything we do wrong is all to do... 99% of it is to do with the centre-backs. Wenbersacker out of position because he's being sucked in by Victor the Vacuum. The centre defensive midfielders not being progressive because they're being sucked back to Harry the Hoover. After this week, I decided to relax about this season. I have no expectations and we'll see what happens. Hoping for the best, but won't be surprised if we fall. Nothing will change with this board, says Matt Ike. We are forgetting about the times Ollie got it right. We are too quick and too slow to praise the team. Remember we beat City thrice last year, says Keegan. Mate, I disagree with you there. I really disagree with you there. The PSG game away from home a few weeks ago was superb tactically. We played the back 5 and then with half an hour to go, we brought Pogba on and we took the game away from them. Tactically spot on. RB Leipzig at home, Diamond, tactically spot on. He can do it right. The reason people are critical, there are some people who call him a PE teacher, which I think is very disrespectful. He can coach. The problem is he's a tinker man. He changes his team all the time. He tinkers with it. And he changes the formation and he changes the players. And that's the frustration. And that's a reason to be very dubious about this coaching network because they're not consistent. Despite Maguire being captain, would you replace him or Lindelof with a quicker centre-back? I would personally drive Harry the Fridge back to Argos, says Jack the Lad. I think Harry Maguire with a quicker centre-back will be fine. I think Lindelof with a quicker centre-back will be fine. The difference between Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire is that Harry Maguire is dominant in the air. So if you get somebody to play next to Lindelof, you need a tall, quick player. Whereas if you get someone to play with Harry Maguire, their height isn't as important. So that's the only thing I would say about that. I just hope we don't play a back 5. We need consistent tactics, says Daniel Liu. We are wondering why we are inconsistent while changing our team every 3 days. And that's the criticism of Solskjaer, really. We know we can win any given Sunday or any given Saturday, but it's the changing of the team. Do you think we'd see some things at the club run differently if Chevrolet were to walk away from the sponsorship deal next year, says Kevin Barrett? I don't know. I thought they were walking away. And Abanaf says last season prior to his injury, Ollie was playing Axel and Maguire. Wonder why he's not doing the same now. I mean, look, there might be in relation to Axel Tuanzebe, one thing I will say is there may be an issue with, Tuanzebe was out for a year. And I think I said it around the end of the transfer window that you can't rely on Tuanzebe when he's been out for a year, and maybe there is some issue with Tuanzebe that he can't play every week that we don't know about, and maybe that is the reason, but we don't know that reason. And going back to that previous comment about being relaxed, to be honest with you, I am relaxed. I'm sort of fed up relaxed, if you know what I mean. I'm really not at that point where I'm like, Ollie out, get Ollie out, because I'm too experienced at this now. And many of you should be as well. We know how this board works. They don't sack a manager until top 4 is basically gone. Well, it's not gone, is it? We're technically in a bloody title race. So shouting Ollie out every show for the next 3 months is not going to do my health any good, and it's not going to do your ears any good. So I have to look at it strategically. And I go, look, do I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the right man for Manchester United? No. The evidence of the last 2 years definitely say no. Do I want him to be successful in some miraculous way and turn this around? Yes. Has he got the time to do that in my mind? Yes, because he's not going to get sacked for any time soon. For me, the most logical thing is Pogba needs to be sorted out in January. We need a centre-back bringing in January, and that doesn't matter whether Ollie's staying or not. We need a certain type of centre-back, so it's not dependent on the manager, really. And then if he doesn't get top 4 and he doesn't get Champions League football, he goes in May. And I'm very relaxed about that being the process. Doesn't mean I'm not going to be furious if we lose tomorrow. Doesn't mean I won't be excited if we win tomorrow, but ultimately I think that's what we're heading for. Do you think we will sign somebody to replace Ighalo, even if it's not a striker? We need some cover in attack as well as midfield, says Sagar. I mean, that's presuming Ighalo is going to go at the end of January. He should do, really, for the price. We're paying over 100 grand a week for him and we don't use him. SSJX Revan says, what do you think it would take for Maguire to lose the captaincy in favour of Bruno? I don't think he will lose it. He should have lost it already. I don't care about the Greece incident. We don't know what happened there. If he gets found guilty, he's going to, then you can have an opinion on it. For me, Harry Maguire, I said it at the time. I said it in the week before the Greece thing came out. The week after the Sevilla loss, I said take the captaincy off Harry Maguire. This was ages ago. This was before this season started. I said after that Sevilla game, take the captaincy off Harry Maguire. He's basically at fault for both goals and he doesn't lead the back four, so how can he lead the whole team? And Ollie stuck by him and he's going to keep sticking by him. The reality is the real captain of that team's Bruno Fernandes anyway. Just watch the game tomorrow. So he's captain because Ollie doesn't want to take it off him, but he's not a captain. And that's nothing to do with his ability. I actually think he'd be a better player if we took the captaincy off him. He is a player who is struggling with his game and we've given him the captaincy as well. He's only been at the club a year. He's not even settled as a Man United player and we're asking him to captain the club. I think the captaincy would actually, taking it off him would make him a better player, but it's not my decision, it's Ollie's. Probably our best run was after lockdown when we had the same lineup game after game, says Tegosaurus. Oh, mate, you know what? Why are we not playing a back four? Why are we not playing Matic, Pogba and Bruno? Why with Greenwood and Rashford and Martial as the front three? I mean, look, obviously I wouldn't play Pogba now, I'd play Van der Beek instead, but we can pick that team tomorrow. We could have picked it for the last 6 weeks. That's the team that got us to the top to third place. And also the team when he first came in that was unbeaten for 3 months, the midfield was Matic, Herrera and Pogba. You know, Ollie's most successful periods have been with a 4-3-3 that's got one holding midfielder, one box-to-box and one box-to-box with a bit more attacking licence. As you mentioned in the morning, to try Rojo as left centre-back, what game do you think is ideal to experiment that option, says Aki? He won't do it. He just won't do it. Talking about Rojo, by the way, Sheffield United and somebody else want him apparently, but Man United want more money. Maguire isn't dominant in the air though because he tries to play sweeper and leaves the heading and marking to the other centre-backs as Uber Melon. Actually, we're talking about centre-backs, so let me bring this in. The transfer podcast with Duncan Castles, basically they're saying that Manchester United want Pau Torres from Villarreal and they're offering up Marcus Rojo in his place. Pau Torres would be a very exciting player. I feel that Pau Torres, he's at Villarreal at the moment. Now, I'm going to have to bow down to better knowledge here. I mean, I normally know a lot about a player or find it out. I've got to be honest with you, with Pau Torres, if I said to you, good player in the air, not super fast, but certainly not slow, good on the ball, and definitely has the ability to go up to the next level and play centre-back for Spain for many years to come. So a very good player. If you think differently or I've missed something, get in the comments. So I think Pau Torres, a little bit like Ruben Diaz and a little bit Laporte at Man City, he's the sort of player that I think Atletico Madrid wouldn't mind buying. So he's a very, very good centre-back and he's exactly the sort of player that United should be looking at. Now, I think Pau Torres, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Pau Torres is right-footed. To be honest, I don't watch a lot of La Liga. I stopped watching La Liga when Ronaldo left, to be honest, and I really don't have a lot of interest in it. But certainly sounds like the sort of player, and I've seen him a few times, but not enough that I can even remember if he's a right footer or a left footer. But he would be a good signing, and if you could get Rojo to be part of that deal, I'd be quite happy to do it. Cat in the Hat, welcome to the United Stand Members Club. He's a left-footed Lindelof, says Joseph. They can take Rojo for free, says Rash R. If he's quick, then get him, says Shona. I don't think he's super quick, but like Ronit says, he is quick. I don't think he's a speedster, but, he'd be certainly quicker than anything we've got. And he's left-footed. That's another tick in the box then. I thought he was left-footed, but I wasn't 100% sure. So, he ticks all the boxes really, doesn't he? He's definitely a player that I think is going to be playing for Spain as their number one centre-back for a few years. He's left-footed. He's relatively quick. He's good in the air. He's good on the ball. He's very physical. He sort of ticks a lot of the boxes. So, I would be very happy if United did that. And also, what I would say is that it's a deal you could do. in January, and I think that is the most important thing. Michael says he's the Spanish Lindelof. I mean, look, I don't profess to know everything about Pau Torres. I'm really looking at him in that way. Calhoun Lane says, "Ooh, nice shave." You can't see under the table, can you? We are sponsored by Manscaped, but you can't see under the table. I have had a shave though, more ways than one. Very happy with both. He's weak, says Zach Shaw. Fastest defender in Spain, says David Calamer. And we need Ferdinand quicker, says Mohammed. Rojo's never had a red card. That's a miracle. It is a miracle. And George Kyle's in the house. Hello, George. And also all the moderators. He's got a good connection with David because he's Spanish, says user. And Mockhill says he's just a B-Tech Lindelof. So a lot of people like him. A lot of people saying he's just a Spanish Lindelof. I agree 100% about Torres. He's the style we need, says Brian Curtis. And no, we need someone quick. He's literally a left-footed Lindelof, says Nicholas Bentner. So you know, I'm now worried because he does sound like he's got the right attributes to come to Manchester United and be a centre back that we need. But we don't want a Spanish Lindelof, do we? We really don't. I mean, one thing I'm just going to have a look at. Well, he can't be a Spanish Lindelof because he's 6'4". So he can't be a Spanish Lindelof. Let's put a bit of respect on his name. He can't be a Spanish Lindelof. If he's quicker than Lindelof and he's 6'4", he can't be a Spanish Lindelof, can he, really? Everyone's going to go and watch YouTube clips of Pau Torres now. Who are they playing at the weekend? I think we need to watch. He will have a release clause, Rash. I don't know what it is. So yeah. Please smash a like on the video. Let's see if we can get 2,000 likes on the video. I love this. I love the Tuesday night show, and it's not Tuesday. I love the Friday night show. I love the Friday night show. So we've been taking a lot of your questions. Thanks for all the super chats. Keep them coming in. Keep your questions going in as well. George Kyle says he is quick as well. And welcome to the members club, C. O'Loughlin. And Abdullah says, Rojo and Jones were better than Maguire and Lindelof. I'm so annoyed with the inconsistency of Ollie. I love him, but he needs to be consistent. I think that probably sums up how everybody feels. He's not physical enough for the Premier League, says Phil Flanagan. He's less physical than Lindelof, says Jake. Does he need to be physical, though? Does he need to be physical if he's fast? Don't know. I heard rumours about Mbappe, Mark. Any truth in this, says Fernando Martinez. Mate, that Mbappe story, do you really think Kylian Mbappe, who for me is the one, Ronaldo and Messi are going to retire in the next 5 years. There's only one player I look at in world football at the moment who I think in 5 years' time can be anywhere near that level, because Neymar will be in his mid-30s by then, and it's Kylian Mbappe. Do you think Kylian Mbappe is sat there tonight while he's playing FIFA thinking, you know what, Man United's definitely the next best move for me? This is a story after we've had a horrible week where we meant to think we can get Mbappe and feel good. How many times, I'm not saying Man United are leaking it, but how many times has this happened over the last 10 years? We have a disappointing cup loss, we get kicked out of a tournament, we're out the top four, and within a couple of days, there's a story that we're signing Ronaldo back, we're getting Gareth Bale, Messi's going to come. File Mbappe under bullshit, basically. That's not going to happen. Never, it's not going to happen. I only talk about it to say it's not going to happen. Erling Haaland has been linked with Man City. I mean, to be honest with you, Erling Haaland's a fantastic player. Would you want Erling Haaland at Manchester United, knowing who his agent is? It's Mino Raiola. I've watched him in the Spain international games. He's not quick, to be fair. He's a good comparison to Laporte, says Nicholas Bentner. So the jury's definitely out on Pau Torres. What about Bailly as centre-back with Twansebi? The trouble with Eric Bailly is I don't trust him. After the latest injury, I said, if Eric Bailly plays, great. I really like Eric Bailly, but I don't trust him. How can you get excited about a player you don't trust? And I don't mean in a way that I wouldn't lend him my car or anything like that. I mean in the sense that he's going to get injured. Eric Bailly could play tomorrow and be the best player on the pitch, and I wouldn't get excited. I just praise the performance and say that's what he can do, but he'll be injured before Christmas, and that's the problem with Eric Bailly. You cannot trust him. He will get injured. He will get injured. What about Aaron Wenbersacker as a centre back, says Udishan? If you like centre backs who do slide tackles, that would be a comedy to watch. Aaron Wenbersacker is a fantastic defender, but his defending style would not work as a centre-back because a massive part of his game is his slide tackling, and you don't slide tackle as a centre-back because the ball stays in play. Must get David Alaba, says Peter. I mean, David Alaba would be great. He would be great, but I don't think we can do that. I really don't. How are you feeling about tomorrow, Mark? What do you think the score will be? Says Robert Ellison. I'm relaxed about it, to be honest. I mean, I think these games are there to be enjoyed. It's a Manchester derby. You don't get many of them. We were fortunate last year that we got 4 because we had the 2 semi-final legs, didn't we? We beat them 3 times. It's a Manchester derby. I actually think we'd have a better chance if there was fans in the ground. This is one where I agree with Ollie. I think if we had fans in the ground, they'd be so pissed off from the midweek game that they'd get on the back if we didn't play well. I think that the fact that there's no fans in the ground probably plays into Man City's hands, and I don't think anybody's really mentioned that yet. And I do think a lack of the fans in the ground will be a problem tomorrow. But it's a Manchester derby. Certain players will definitely play, McTominay and Rashford, because they're from the youth. And I think we'll be fired up for it, as we always are when we've had a shit performance. So I think I said it will go one of 2 ways. We'll either win it on the break, 2-0, or they'll get an early goal and we won't open up and they'll just pick us off and maybe win 3-0. So I'm going to go 2-0 United or 3-0 to them. We'll either stop them scoring and win or not. Should go for Sebastian Walowicz. Tall, very quick and great at breaking the ball out from the back, says Uber Melon. And Mark, would you say that this City team is easier to get at as compared to the City squad of yesterday, says Mojo? I don't, you know what, Mojo. I think City of last season were easier to get at than City of this season. Defensively, they've been a lot better this year because they've got Laporte and Diaz, and Stones has been playing well. Last year, they were playing like Fernandinho and, was it Otamendi? So they're better defensively this season. Their midfield is much the same, although De Bruyne has been underperforming. I think they've been struggling to score goals, but then they beat was it Sheffield United or Burnley last week 5-0, but they haven't been scoring as many goals. So I think this City team's more balanced. I think we can stop them scoring. It could be a bloody 0-0. What about Upamecano? Fabrizio Romano tweeted Leipzig are buying Szoboszlai. Yep, Leipzig are getting him. Dana says I will cry if McTominay plays. Get them some tissues. He will play. And you'll only be crying. That's the only need you'll have for those tissues, I'm afraid. It won't be happy needs. And thanks for replying, Mark. Love listening to you, mate, says Robert. Thanks for the comment. Ollie would probably put Mbappe on the bench, says Robert McCutcheon. And Tellez can be at radar 1-on-1 versus Mahrez. I think Luke Shaw's got to play tomorrow because they've got good wingers. I think Wenbersacker will do a good job against Sterling. But, I think Luke Shaw's got to play. Defensively, we're going to have to defend, and Mahrez is a very good player. If you remember back the last time we played Man City, Williams up against Mahrez, and Williams was getting absolutely put on toast. And then Luke Shaw came on. I think Luke Shaw might have moved across, or he came on. I think we started off with a back 5 and went to a back 4, and Luke Shaw just pocketed Mahrez. So I think Luke Shaw's got to play tomorrow. But I think it will be in a back 5 with Tellez as well. Get Schürrle from Ajax, says David. I do like Schürrle from Ajax. I do like him, and he is a player I know more about than Pau Torres. And the interesting thing about Schürrle from Ajax is very physically strong player, tall, but brilliant on the ball and quick. In many ways, I think Schürrle is better than De Ligt because, has the potential to be better than De Ligt because he's quicker. I think Schürrle would be a good player for United. Right footer though, isn't he? So, we desperately need what we need is quite specific. We need a left-footed, quick centre-back who's very good. Emery won't let Torres leave in January. Best options available in the summer, says Nazar Haroon. And I'm happy Aguero is not in his good years anymore. He won't pick out the Hoover and the vacuum, says Fabian. Hi Mark, would it be possible because towards the end of last season our team burnt out, so Solskjaer started to tinker a lot with our team this season, but our calibre of players can't support him, says Zonsgun. Look, you might be onto something, but the reality is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, when he picks his strongest, look at the team he picked against Everton. That was a must-win game. It was 2 days after this story about Pochettino came out, and you've got to pick your strongest team. He picked McTominay and he picked Mata, and he benched Van der Beek, and I think Pogba might have been benched as well. or he was injured. So, I think Ollie's just changed the way he's picking his team this season. I don't think he's doing it to rotate the team. He's just moved away from the team that got him third place and tried to build a new team. I don't know what the score in the Leeds game is, Zishan. I'm sure somebody will pull it. Mark now calls his testicles Wallace and Gromit. They've had a close shave, says Martin McCullough. We've had a good laugh on the show tonight. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, to be honest with you. Smash a like if you have. What do you think of Canate from Leipzig, Mark? Says Joe VN. I like him. I do like Canate at Leipzig. A lot of people prefer Upamecano, but I said it last season. I don't think there's a massive amount of difference. I mean, what I would say about Canate is he just strikes me as being a little bit more raw. And I don't know what the age gap is. I think Upamecano might be a year older. They might even be the same age. But to me, both very quick, both very strong, both decent on the ball, and both ready to take the step up. Of course, a lot of people will say Canate's crap because, he nearly scored, he nearly kept us in the Champions League. I definitely would have signed him if that second own goal had gone in. But I think he's a good centre-back, and I think he's definitely raw enough that you can take him to the next level. Woodward will be at Wheel of Fortune tonight with only one letter missing. Act. Will Ed go for S or B? Says Marcus Prussy. I like what you did there. Yeah, George Cole says he likes the Wallace and Gromit joke. It's a classic, yes. Tomorrow it will be a draw, says Mr. Randawa. I mean, nobody wants a draw, really, but actually, it might, because we've won the last 4, it might not be the end of the world, but, no one wants a draw. You want to win. Pau Torres is an upgrade than the 2 overrated donkeys we have, says Rahul. And De Bruyne is overrated. He just spams crosses and hopes for assists, says Ducky Momo. I mean, look, interestingly, I tweeted about this earlier and people said I'm making excuses already. A lot of people are keeping their eye on the match tomorrow because of the De Bruyne versus Bruno thing. Now, for me, when De Bruyne's firing, he's still the best attacking midfielder in the league. But Bruno is a very close second. Can you compare them tomorrow? I personally think Bruno will do better than De Bruyne over a season, but in a head-to-head, I think De Bruyne has more chance of being successful because De Bruyne plays in a team that is going to have a lot of the ball and try to score goals. And Bruno's going to play in a team that's going to play very deep and try to counter-attack. Therefore, De Bruyne will get more opportunity to showcase his talent than Bruno. And I hope I'm wrong about that. But that's why I think De Bruyne's got the better chance of having a bigger impact than Bruno tomorrow. Because I think Bruno's going to be living off scraps. We're not going to have a lot of the ball around the edge of their box. And I think De Bruyne is going to have a lot of the ball around our box. I think the reason for Pogba actions is the arrival of Bruno and Van der Beek. Maybe Pogba wasn't supposed to start in the Leipzig match, says Cheaton M. And welcome to the Members Club D Train. Thank you very, very, very much. Well, look, we've had over 10,000 people watching this show throughout, which is fantastic. Remember, we're live every night at 8 o'clock, so subscribe to the channel if you're new, bottom right-hand corner. Smash a like on the video. We have got a video in the morning. You might want to check it out. It's going to be very exciting. And also, of course, it's match day tomorrow, so we'll be live an hour before with the kickoff, all the way through till full time, match reaction, fan forum, big day tomorrow. Hopefully we're going to win. But this show's fantastic. I absolutely love it, and thank you everyone for watching. It's almost like a cult Goldbridge Friday night club, and we've had some fun, and it's been a cracking show. And I just want to get my lawnmower out again and show you it. Light up, mate. I'm not going to do it live on air, don't worry, but thank you very much to Manscaped for sponsoring the show. The link is in the video description. You can get 20% off. My balls have been christened Wallace and Gromit because they've had a close shave. Not my words, the words of somebody else in the live comments. The product is very good. You can get things like this, which is ball toner, and also ball deodorant, which I'm going to have a spray of in a bit. Don't worry, I won't be doing it live on the show. As I said, links in the video description. If you know, you know. I think it's a very good product, and I'm very happy to be plugging it in. And give it a try. Links in the video description. Very, very good quality. And if you fancy a trim, you know where to go. Links in the video description. And I also haven't got mine yet, but the nose trimmer, if you're of a certain age, very, very good. Can't wait to get that. Thanks for watching. Check it out. Link in the video description. I'll see you on the next show.